Today I will read from the book My Feudal Lord by Tahmina Durrani. She was the wife of Ghulam Mustafa Khar. This book is an international bestseller. Despite the fact that our mother had divorced her first husband, we were taught that marriage was a sacred and irrevocable institution. If a husband turned out to be brute, it was the wife's duty to preserve until she changed his character. A broken marriage was a reflection of a woman's failure. Ghulam Mustafa Khar was authoritarian, conservative, and overpowering. I knew from the start, but that was precisely what attracted me so much. Ghulam Mustafa Khar grew up in their isolated village of Kot Addu with little discipline from their aging father and a submissive mother. Like his brother, Mustafa was raised by a pair of nannies who breastfed him for the first 6 years of his life. Feudalism was a license to plunder, rape, and even murder. The rich got richer, the poor despaired. A feudal lord was an absolute ruler who could justify any action. Democracy took hold in India and the feudal system collapsed. But in Pakistan, although lip service was paid to democratic principles, feudal lords remained in control. It was they who decided who would sit in the National Assembly and who would reside in the Prime Minister's house. When he was barely 17, at the decision of his father, Mustafa Khar told me later he had married his illiterate cousin Wazir, who was many years older than him. Mustafa was 24 years old when he stood for a seat in the National Assembly. He was a novice, but an energetic one. Mustafa fell under the magnetic spell of Bhutto, a hard-working leftist politician who cried hour for social justice. Bhutto's library was one of the best in Asia, and here his most prized possession was his collection of books on Napoleon Bonaparte. He was fascinated by him. Bhutto presented Mustafa with a recommended reading list and later questioned him on what he had read of it. Mustafa continued to live the good life, and this revolved around Bhutto's spectacular dinner parties. Within a year, fueled by a hostile press, mainly in India and Britain, the battle for the liberation of Bangladesh had begun. The West seemed to have misread the plight of the East Pakistani people. It was during this period that Bhutto sent Mustafa to Washington as his most trusted emissary to meet President Nixon and deliver a special message. Bhutto worried that Mustafa's inflated ego might persuade him to go his own way in politics, and if he believed himself to be the number two man, there was only one job to which he could aspire. Everywhere Mustafa went, he was greeted with the slogan Sher-e Punjab, Lion of the Punjab, and he acted the part of the number two man in Pakistan, which he was. He was a perfect gentleman to the women in our group. Whenever a woman entered the room, he stood and offered her a chair. I had heard whispered accusations that he was vulgar, but I saw no trace of these traits. Mustafa Khar reasons for marriage were always wrong. He married women in transit. His political life exposed him to a high powered world. He was changing and evolving all the time. Wives and daughters of the Punjab were told to fear the time that Mustafa Khar would return. I had fallen into the classic trap of the Pakistani woman. The goal is marriage, and once achieved, the future is a life of total subordination. I had no power, no rights, no will of my own. I did not have the confidence to walk away. I reasoned that Mustafa would hunt me down and find me no matter how far I ran. In order to avoid another beating, I apologized for what I had said. I knew that my comments had shaken Mustafa, and he had to plan some way to crush the tiny feelings of my remaining spirit. Prime Minister of India and the exiled Lion of the Punjab, Mustafa Khar, tried to analyze the reasons for the continued hostility between their two nations, and both concluded that the Pakistan army had a vested interest in maintaining border tensions. It made them necessary. My grandmother could not bear to see me deal alone with this suffering, but she was also angry with me for bringing such a sick man, Mustafa Khar, into the family.